Good Erev Shabbos to everybody. Before I start the last part of Daf Yud Zayin and Beis in Daf Hashavua, I'd like to tell you just a quick Dvar Torah on the Parsha that Moshe Feinstein says in his second Chelik in Darash Moshe. In this week's Parsha, Parshas Yisro, it says, Vayishma Yisro, Yisro heard everything that happened to Klal Yisrael, and he came. And Rashi says, Mashmu Hashamu Ba, what did he hear? Famous Rashi. He heard about Kriyas Yamsuf and Milchemes Amalek. He heard about Kriyas Yamsuf and about the war with Amalek. He said, you know what? I'm in. Asks Rav Moshe Feinstein, he said, yes, that he understands the Nisim of Kriyas Yamsuf or Yitzias Mitzrayim, if that would have caused Yisro to want to come and be Megayer. But what was it about Milchemes Amalek? That there was Milchemes Amalek, the war that we had with Amalek, there weren't any apparent nisim that someone from the outside would have known about. In fact, just the opposite. It was a question why Amalek would even think of coming to fight against Klal Yisrael at a time when the whole world was afraid about Klal Yisrael. Like Rashi says himself at the end of Parshas Kiseitze, and Morachani taught us, of course, when we were younger, that Amalek coming to fight us was like somebody jumping into a hot bath and getting a little bit burnt, but then the water is cooled off so that someone else could use the water. The same thing with us by Amalek. Everyone was afraid of us, and Amalek fought us, even though we beat them, but it cooled us off and the rest of the world wasn't as afraid of us. So what was it that Yisro saw about Milchemes Amalek that said, you know what, that's one of the reasons I'm going to be in? So says Rav Moshe, beautiful, beautiful word. It's so important for us in these days, and it's always. He says like this, he says that what he heard about Yitzias Mitzrayim and Kriyas Yamsuf, so that made Yisro for sure believed in Hashem. And that helped him that he had a special emunah, and he knew that there was a God. But for that alone, says Rav Moshe, he might not have come to convert, to be Megayer, and to leave his place. Why? Because he knew Ein ben Noach mechuyev l'sgayer. A non-Jew is not obligated to convert as long as he keeps the Sheva Mitzvahs b'nei Noach. Oh, so why did he come? So says Rav Moshe, he says, but when he heard about Milchemes Amalek, and he saw the Anoshim Roim, the evil people, that they could deny the ability of Hashem, even after they saw the great things that Hashem did, of Yitzias Mitzrayim and Kriyas Yamsuf, if after this they could deny it, so therefore he realized that without the Torah, without Kabbalas HaTorah, it was impossible to live a true life and to give that over to his children and his grandchildren after that. The fakeness of the world, and the fakeness, the part of the world that a person could fool himself, that he could fool himself into believing things that were so clearly untrue. He said, you know what, there's no other way. There's no other way without the Torah. Oh, what a beautiful message for us, the Lomdei Daf Hashavua and Lomdei Torah and JEC, that it's not any more than today in our day and age. Look in Washington and all over the world. There's so much fakeness that goes on, that people just say things and they believe it. Our leaders in Washington, from both sides and all over the world, they believe things that are clearly untrue, or things that they want to believe, or things that push their agenda. It's only us. We have the Torah, Baruch Hashem, and through that lens of the Torah we can be truthful to ourselves and know exactly what we need to do, when we need to do it, and listen to the things that we're taught and not fool ourselves. Without further ado, let's finish up Daf Hashavua. On Daf Yud Zayin and Beis, we're toward the bottom of the Amid. We're speaking about the different brachos of Shmon Esrei, why they have that order. So we just got finished saying a whole back and forth about that we first have tshuva, then we have slicha, forgiveness, and then we have, so the Gemara says that like this. It says, let's go back a little bit just so that we catch up to what we were up to. Let's go back, and it says like this. We brought down a pasuk that it says like this. It says, "Umaro lomer tshuva achar bina." Why do we do tshuva after bina? So we are from the. If you look, where it says Tosfos v'David, the bottom Tosfos on the Amid on the right side, the Tosfos bina right there, like maybe a little bit under that. So says the Gemara, "Umaro lomer tshuva achar bina." Why do we say the bracha of tshuva after the bracha of bina, which is after atachonein? Says the Gemara, "D'chsiv ulevavo yavin v'shav v'rafalo," and then your heart will understand and return, and you'll be healed. So therefore, you see, it says ulevavo yavin, you'll understand, v'shav, you'll do tshuva, v'rafalo, and then you'll have refuah. Ask the Gemara, Yachi lemer refuah batzer tshuva. So we should say refuah after tshuva because it says ulevavo yavin v'shav, you'll do tshuva. That's the bracha of tshuva, and then v'rafalo, you'll be healed. So why do we do the bracha of salach lanu, of forgive us? And it says Gemara lo sakadaitach, that we can't think like that tichsiv, because there's a different pasuk that says v'yashav al Hashem yirachmeo v'elokeinu ki yarbe l'slach, and you'll turn to Hashem ki yarbe l'sloach, because He forgives us. You see that forgiveness comes after tshuva. So ask the Gemara, wait a second. But the first pasuk says you do refuah after tshuva. Why don't you go with the first pasuk that says you do refuah after tshuva? Says the Gemara, Kasav Krachwina. There's a third pasuk that says Hasolech l'cha avonechi, that He forgives all your averos harofi l'chol tachluechi, and He heals all your diseases. Hagol mishachas chayechi. Let's see how you read the pasuk exactly. Hasolech avonechi harofi l'chol tachluechi, hagol mishachas chayochi. So therefore, you see a third pasuk that says that refuah only comes after slicha, only comes after forgiveness. So ask the Gemara, Lamemra. So the Gemara answers, Lamemra says, comes to tell us the geula refuah basar slicha, that geula and refuah come only after slicha. Slicha comes first, and then geula and refuah, and that's why we have slicha. Salach lanu minu kichatanu, p'halanu makein v'shonu kimol chavos echad b'rad Hashem. We say the bracha of salach lanu, and then we say the bracha of barech aleinu. I'm sorry, Re'enu ve'anyenu, V'rivenu, Ugo aleinu meir l'man shemechas. That's the Gemara of Gula, that's the pasuk Gula, and then Re'enu. So says the Gemara, v'aksiv v'shav v'rafalo. How could you, still at the end of the day, what do you do with the pasuk that says v'shav? You should do tshuva v'rafalo, and you will then have refuah. So you see, Re'enu should come after tshuva. How could you ignore it? You're right, you have a third pasuk that teaches us that after tshuva comes salach lanu, and then but how could you ignore the first pasuk that we mentioned? Answers the Gemara, hu lav refuah tachluimi. That's not a refuah of diseases, el refuah deslichi. That's a refuah of forgiveness, of a spiritual refuah. That's what we're up to. Ask the Gemara. Now we're up to 3 lines from the middle grade wide lines, 3 lines up from that. Ask the Gemara, Maro lomoglu b'shviyis. So why do you what? Say the pasuk of Geula, Re'ena ve'anyenu. Why do you do it? In the 7th spot. Why do you do the pasuk of Geula in the 7th spot? Why do you do the pasuk in the 7th spot? You should have after salach lanu, you should do Re'enu. Why do you do geula in between? That you don't have a right to do, right? The pasuk says, "Hasolech l'chol avonechi, harofe l'chol tachluechi," that you do refuah after salach, and the pasuk before that says you do refuah after tshuva. So at least that. So even though, right? So that's the Gemara's kasha. So why do you do geula? Why do you stick geula in between Re'enu? Amarava mitoch shasin legal b'shviyas. Since we in the future we are going to be redeemed in the 7th year. Leficha kol b'shvius. So therefore, we set it up as the 7th bracha. What does that mean? We're going to be redeemed in the 7th year. Says Rashi. Mitoshasin legol b'shvius shvua sheben adam ba. The 7 years before Mashiach's going to come, the Shemitah, the 7 years of Shemitah cycle before David HaMelech's going to come. Chalg mishar shonim. It's going to be different. Kedamrinim perakhelek. That in the first, there's going to be a lot of strange things that happen during that 7 years before Mashiach comes. In the first year, there's going to be hunger in some places, not in other places. Until the 7th year, there's going to be a war. And then in the end of the 7th year, in the 8th year, Mashiach's going to come. So therefore, since we're going to be redeemed in that 7th year, so we have the bracha of Gal, Re'enu V'Anyenu, of Geula in the 7th. Ask the Gemara, V'amar Mar. We learned B'shishas in that 6th year. At the end of time, Kolos, there'll be herald. The people will hear that Mashiach's coming. B'shvias Melchamos. In the 7th year, it'll only be the war. B'matzoi Shvias Ben David. And Ben David, Mashiach's only coming in the 8th year. And the war is going to be in the 7th year. So why are you saying that the redemption is going to be in the 7th year? Says the Gemara, Melchama Nami Aschalta de Geuli. That Melchama is also the beginning of Geula. And therefore that it's the 7th year. Ask the Gemara, Maro Malom Refuah B'Shminis. Why do you do Refuah in the 8th spot? The Mefarshim, the Marsha, the Rashash, they speak about this. They say that, so the Gemara, they ask, what do you mean? This is the spot. Where else should you put it? You already explained they have Tshuva, Slicha, Geula. Now it's time for Rafeinu. Rafeinu was the next one up on the list. So the Rashash says that he says that the pasuk before of Geula being next is, since the main Geula is not till the end b'motzoi shvius, so therefore, if we don't have a good reason to have Rafa'enu in the 8th spot, it could be we would have put it earlier. In other words, the Gemara answers that the Melchama is the Aschalta de Gula. But since the actual Gula, the Ikra Gula, is only in the 8th year, if we didn't have a better reason to put someone else in the 8th spot, which is Rafa'enu, we might have done that. So says the Gemara, Maro Lom Refuah B'Shminis, Amar Avach Mitov Shenitna Mila B'Shminis. Since Mila, Bris Mila is on the 8th day, Shetzricha Refuah, and you need a Refuah on Mila, Leficha Kaval B'Shminis, that's why we have Rafa'enu in the 8th spot. Umaro Loma Birchas Hashanim B'Tchias. Why do we have Barech Aleinu, where we ask Hashem for parnasa, for food, in the 9th spot? Rabbi Alexandri Kenegin Mafki Hasharim. It's to pray against those that lift the prices of food and therefore cause tremendous heartache to the poor people. Dechsiv Shvar Zeroa Russia, break the strength of the Russia. And when did David? That's a pasuk in Tehillim. David ki Amra. When did David say this? B'Tchias Amra. He said it in the 9th capital of Tehillim. That's where he said the pasuk of Shvar Zeroa Russia, break the strength of the Russia. And Rashi explains, break the strength of Russia. Why is that referring to the people that lift up the prices of the food? So Rashi says because in that pasuk it speaks there's a different pasuk that says Yerav b'Mista ka'aryeh b'suko Yerav lachtof ani. It speaks about ambushing an ani. So these same people are the people that ambush an ani. So usually someone who steals, when a person wants to steal and make money, he doesn't go to a poor person's house. He goes to a rich person's house. When a person wants to ambush somebody, he ambushes the rich guy, not the poor guy. So therefore, when it speaks about ambushing in this same capital Tehillim, about ambushing the poor guy, that's talking about mafki yashar and people that up the prices, because when they up the prices, the person who really loses out is the poor person. And therefore we daven, David HaMelech was davening against those people, and we also daven like that in the bracha of Barech Aleinu as well. It says Gemara Maro Lomer Kibbutz. One more point. The Gemara says that this is in the 9th capital of Tehillim. We have it in the 10th. So Rashi asked this question. There's a whole question in the Girs of Rashi. Rashi says, "Beparshat Shias Amra." Ask Rashi. There's a Girs. Our Girs it says it a little different. but I'm going to go with the other simpler girsa, at least for now. It says, V'im Tomar, Rashi asks, V'im Tomar, Asirisi. It's the 10th kapitel. You're telling me it's the 9th, it's the 10th. So answers Rashi that Ashrei, so Rashi says, V'im Tomar Asirisi. So he says that the Lam Natseach Al Mus, which is number 10, and Lama Hashem Tamud Barachok is really considered one, and therefore it ends up being the 9th, because if the 9th and 10th are one, so it's all the 9th. So Rashi says, Lam Natseach Al Mus, Lama Hashem Tamud Gam Ken Chada is going to be one. Very good. Okay. Unless, hold on one second. Vim Tomar Asirisi, Svar Macher, Vim Tomar Asirisi, Ashrei, V'lo Marog Shechadi. I'm sorry, that's not what he's answering. He's answering not the 9th and the 10th is one. He's answering that the 1st and the 2nd are one. He's saying that the 1st and the 2nd, Ashrei Ish and Lo Marog Shugayim, are one,